and girls. This is Miss Wen again, and this week in math we will be focusing on multiplying fractions. I hope you've been having fun with your fraction journey, and pretty much today we're going to learn how to multiply. We've learned how to add them, we've learned how to subtract, and we've learned how to turn them into improper fractions. Today, boys and girls, we're going to be learning how to multiply fractions. So that's our learning goal. By the end of this chapter 8 lesson, you will be able to say, I can multiply fractions by a whole number. This lesson is in our Go Math chapter 8 book. And before we go any further into multiplying fractions, we want to get familiar with some of the vocabulary that we will encounter. I know you heard just now that we will be multiplying fractions by a whole number. Reminder, boys and girls, a fraction, when you see a fraction, remember it is your numerator over your denominator, and it is a part of a whole. It can be written as a standard algorithm way, the abstract way, or you can do a visual of it where you can do it in a rectangle or square, or you can do it on a number line. Either way, it's still a fraction. Also, we will be having whole number as one of our vocabulary words that we want to be familiar with. And when you hear whole number, all you're thinking about is your standard way of writing numbers. And it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, any of these numbers here. So what you're going to be learning to do during this chapter is to learn how to multiply a fraction by a whole number. I have set it down here for you. An example, 3 times your whole number multiplied by your fraction. Whole number times your fraction. How do you do it, boys and girls? If you were to take a visual of, if you were to use your fraction strips, this is how it would look. You would have your fraction here, your rectangle. You have it divided into 5 parts. And remember, multiplication is a form of repeated addition. So you can either go on and add them 1/5 here, 1/5 here, 1/5 here. Either way, it is written 3 times. So when you multiply, when you add them all up, you get 3/5. Or, because you're a 4th grader, you know how to just go on and multiply. So you can multiply them 3 times and you will get 3/5. What are you really doing? How do you really work it out? What you do, or what I usually do, is because it is 3 wholes and not just 1 whole, you put the whole number over 1. That will make it 3 wholes, because if you put it over 3, then it's going to be 1 whole. But you want to make it 3 wholes, so you're going to put it over the number 1. And you're going to keep the fraction the same way, multiplied by the fraction. And what you do is you're going to multiply your numerator 3 times 1, 3, 1 times 5. And you have your numerator, your denominator remains the same. All right? So I have another example here for you. 4 times 3/6. You can either do a visual of it, a representation of it, where you have these rectangles, they're divided into 6 parts, and in each part, 3, 6 are shaded. You have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. If you do repeated addition, you will recognize that they are 12 out of 6. But because you're a 4th grader, you don't do repeated addition. You're just going to multiply. Remember, this is a form of 1. So 4 times 3, you multiply your numerators, and then you put it back over your denominator. Okay? And that would be, if I had to write it on the board, that would be 12/6. And I know someone is saying, Miss Wen, 12/6 is the same as 2 whole ones. And you're absolutely right. 12/6, you can take it a little further and you can tell me it is 2 whole ones. So during this week, boys and girls, in your Go Math book, we will be posting them for you in your practice book. You will go through their 5 lessons, 8.1 all the way to 8.5. You will have a lot of practice doing multiplication of fractions. Remember, boys and girls, to do your lessons as well as to go on iReady every day for 20 to 30 minutes and Don't forget, if you have any problems, feel free to reach out to us because we are here to help you through this process as you learn more about fractions. Remember, boys and girls, your goal this week is to be able to multiply fractions by whole numbers. I hope you're able to say by Friday. On Friday, yes, I can get it done independently. I don't need any help anymore. Good day.